the other side of that too, because I talked about BH a little bit. The other side of that is it sounds like that they're bringing in other guys.
And Davison.
Yeah.
The story on the show was that, BH practically fired himself and said, hey, you bring me back. You hire me if I'm the guy you want. And kudos to Devin, basically saying, hey, man, we started this together. We're going to end this together to this point, at least.
Is he like AH? Are we not allowed to say Bill?
No. Bill? Yeah. BH.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. So I was like, usually we say AH, and then I was like, wait a second, is he like Voldemort? We're not allowed to. He should not be named. But no, I like the idea of it though. Like you said, where you kind of take yourself out of it and say, hey, this is your career. If you want me, I'm here. If not, we're still father and son. And we're gonna rock.
Hey, Kenny Porter would never.
No.
Kenny Porter.
I know what Kenny Porter would do.
No, he wouldn't do that. Let's be honest, but that's fine. That's not Kenny Porter.
Hey, Sean, Peter, my daddy would do shit like that too. It's like, you're fine, man. I'm your daddy.
Yeah. No, I don't think your dad ever needed to.
Yeah.
Not the Bill Haney needed to.
I was just messing with you.
Yeah, but no, I don't think your dad would have.
I think. Yeah, but let me just to touch on Bill just for a second. I think that Bill is kind of doing a lot of the things my dad did, where he's allowed a lot of people to work with Devin. I think that he's learned from the people. That's what my dad did. A lot of people may think that my dad is a control freak and has controlled my career, so on and so forth.
Hey, Sean, but your dad seemed like he got a little more background on boxing than Bill. If I'm not.
That's another thing too. So my dad's
on another level.
My dad tells a story that he's been in boxing. God, Lord, what did he say? He says
I was boxing at 2 years old.
1950.
He says this is 30 years. He said so. His thing now is this is 30 years in boxing, and that's not including when I boxed as a teenager or as a preteen. So, but my dad does. He really. I'm gonna love having my dad on because y'all probably, I don't know if y'all gonna be on when I have my dad on.
I'm good. Hey, Carson, you got it? I'm out. No, none of that smoke.
I love him.
It's gonna be something much more. It's gonna be a little bit more intimate. And we're gonna kind of get into the storytelling a little bit. But the long story short, my dad practically has been a coach his entire life. And you're looking at me and saying his entire life. My dad told me that he used to play football when he was 14, he would go from his football practice to a younger group of a younger team, and he would coach that team. And then when he wasn't at his games, he would coach that team at his games, and so on and so forth. So when my dad came back into boxing when I was 4 years old, and he took me to the gym and started training me, my dad was boxing himself. And just like when he played football when he was 14, he was also coaching guys. And so when my dad says, I've been in this thing for 30 years now, he's basically saying, I box and coach guys at the same time. And he did that for a number of years before he realized that I can't continue to box amateur and coach other guys too. So,
and let me say this about Bill Haney as well as KP. I think not knowing what you don't know is important, and being smart enough and having enough common sense and humility to allow other people to be involved. So like, there are definitely boxing coaches in the game that if somebody else tried to get involved, they'd be like, no, you can't. Your dad, Barry Hunter helps you in camps. There have been people around. Obviously, you spar. Freddie Roach, I'm sure, was throwing some stuff, and your dad wasn't saying, hey, don't tell him anything. He's saying, absorb it. Same thing with Bill Haney. Yeah. He's a young trainer in the game, and he's allowing Ben Davison, who's literally a young trainer in the game, very knowledgeable, to chime in. So I think that for anyone that is critical, you can be critical of either trainer, but I don't think you can criticize them for not allowing their sons to gain knowledge.
And I'm going to raise my hand because I felt like when I first mentioned Bill, I felt like I was very critical of him. But I think that I was critical of him because of that moment in the 10th round. And it really was it was very surprising to me that they both kind of panicked in the corner. But I also smile at that because, I'm a Christian, and the Bible says that you smile through adversity because it's a testing of your faith. And not that was a testing of their faith, but it was a test for them. And now they can go back and look at it. I'm sure Bill's going to listen to what he said or replay what he said and all that kind of stuff. I really think that was a moment for him for father and son, for him to grab his son by the gloves and say, hey, son, look at me. You're good. You train for this. You're gonna make it through this. This is nothing. Let's just get through these last two. Something along those lines. And that didn't come, which was unfortunate for the moment. They made it through it. They're gonna be better because of it. And I still would love to see them in some big fights. They're ready for the big time.
Yeah. I mean, Ant said. I mean, even if Bill Haney's doesn't have your dad's longevity in the sport, he's gonna have growing pains just like a young fighter. That's fine. Like we mentioned it because it was such a big moment. It's on the main event of a fight, so we're kind of highlighting it. But like it happens. Young fighters mess up. Young trainers have hiccups. You had hiccups last week, but
you had Davidson in the corner. Yeah, worked with Roy Jones over the years. They've worked with Floyd Sr. over the years and Floyd Jr. over the years. They've been around the cities of Vegas and Cali. They've done a lot, and they're going to grow together, man. I'm glad to see them be successful last night, even through that adversity.
And the father-son thing, it's almost thing where you know how far you can go with your kid. So in that moment, BH, you know what you could say with your son, what you can't say. Like I used to tell my dad, I'm like, man, why are you always soft with everybody else? You kill me. He's like, because that soft shit don't work with you.
Yeah, you can take different.
Yeah, so, and like with KP, he knows how far he can push Shawn. So Shawn may not be the boxer he is today without his dad.
Yeah.
And it could be the same thing with
he's not. I would say that.
And I mean, maybe we can end on this, but I see my dad working with other guys now, and it's like my dad, I would say recently there's been a change, but my dad would keep his foot on my neck because he knew his foot had to be on my neck. On the other side, I'm like, yo, get off my back. But I didn't realize it took me a long time for me to understand that he had to do that. And I didn't know that needed to be done for me. It got me where I'm at now. But I see him now, my dad, he'll put his foot on somebody's neck. Because he know
soft. Yeah.
He know this ain't my son. Yeah. I don't know what this dude gonna do. This dude's softer than I thought he was, and all this and that, So it's funny seeing my dad work with guys now, man. I love it. Don't tell me you didn't enjoy what you saw, because I know you did. What you need to do now, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, hit that notification button. Check us out every week, every Tuesday, something new for you right here on the Porter Way Podcast.